So, in order to look after my teeth a bit better, I was recommended by the dentist to try and cut down on my cups of tea. So far, I have failed at that. Like, I've cut down a little bit, but I just love tea. I have one there, and I love it, and I'm just like, I shouldn't be drinking that right now because I'm trying to cut it down, but here we are. Welcome back to Goldilocks Original. I am Rose, as you should know by now. Oh, if you don't, hello, I am Rose and welcome back. Right, just a disclaimer as well. Well, two disclaimers. Firstly, as you probably know by now, I got my notebook here ready to structure this whole video. So if I look down occasionally, that's what I'm looking at. And then secondly, I'm filming two videos today, which is going to be the back-to-back of these two book reviews. I decided to just do them both together because I felt like they both, one of them really influenced how I read the other one. So yeah, there we go. And you probably, by this point, have seen the other video of me in the same outfit, which would be the James the First and the Witch Hunt. So yeah, so that book, me reading that book, I actually read that first before I read this poetry book, and that really influenced me on how I read the book a little bit and how I understood it a little bit. So just a disclaimer, that's why I am in the same outfit than the previous video, because I'm filming these back to back. So there we go. Yeah, there's not much notes apart from to tell you what book we're reading, and it's a poetry book again, and it's called Witch. I feel like most of the witch books I read or about the witch trials are labelled Witch. And it's by Rebecca Tamás. Hopefully I'm getting that last name right. And a bit of information background about this. Rebecca was actually one of my lecturers at York St John University. She actually didn't really, I don't think she actually taught me directly. I think I had her for one lesson, and then we had our group separated, so I was with another teacher and everything like that, but I knew of her, and she was always so lovely, and I just want to make sure everyone knows this. She was absolutely so lovely, and she's a great lecturer, and she's a great writer as well. The reason why I'm trying to say this now is I both loved and hate this poetry book. I think, yeah, let's just get into it and then I can explain my thoughts a little bit. I'm going to read the blurb. Yeah, the blurb is on the back because there's some, on the inside there's some kind of like reviews from people. So the back blurb. So it says, Witch is a strange, whimsical and darkly witty debut by a startling new voice in British poetry. Rebecca Tamás, hopefully I'm getting that last name right, reckons with blood and earth, mysticism and the devil, witch trials and surrogates, gender and sexuality. As at turns lyrical, philosophical and obscene, which invokes the intimate sensual power of nature and merges it with the revolutionary potential of women's voices. These are poems as spells against suppression, silence and obedience, hexes that cling to your body like sweat, full of messy, violent joy, a small, bright, filthy song. Feminist, ecological and occult, which grabs history and shakes it, demanding "Wake me up when it really gets started." So yeah, that's the blurb on the back. First things first. Well, let's go over the summary. So there wasn't an actual, from what I read of it, there wasn't actually, like, we didn't really follow one main character, what I perceived of it anyway. Is my collar all messed up? But anyway. I don't, from what I read of it, we didn't follow like one main character, and if we did, it was mainly like in and out certain thoughts, but it was mainly to do with like, okay, I'm gonna get into one part of it. It was very hard to read at first, because there was so much going on. There was like so much imagery, there was so much words to sort of rack your brain around. You were just like, oh, okay, we'll go right into it. And it made, because it was like a little bit all over the place sometimes, it was hard to read at points, because I was like, okay, this is now happening, alright, gotta keep an eye on that. And how sometimes it was structured, it was so hard to like grasp my brain around a little bit, because I don't normally read stuff like this 100% of the time, and I think when it comes to this kind of writing, it's more about the emotions than it is about a story, and how Rebecca is describing these emotions. And that's what my brain, I don't think it was anything to discredit her writing. I think it was my brain just being like, oh, okay, gotta wrap my head around this. So I think that's why I probably didn't love it 100%, because my brain just got so confused at one point, and I was like, oh god, okay. Anyway, I'm going to flip this over, my notebook, not anything else. And I think one part of it, what made it hard to read a little bit as well, is that, I say it in here in my notes, is because there was one point where there was like an interrogation scene, and I thought we were maybe starting in like the 1600s and 1700s, when the witch trials happened and interrogations happened and everything like that. And I was really into it at that point, because I just gotten fresh off the witch hunt, James First and the witch hunt, English witch hunts, and so I was like, I knew all about this kind of thing. And then she mentions that Rebecca writes down about a train, and I'm just like, oh, okay, we're not in the 1600s then. And that's when my brain got a little bit confused. I was like, okay, what are we viewing this from a 1600s standpoint, 1700s standpoint, or a modern day? Yeah, so my brain, that's why my brain a little bit got confused, because I didn't know if we were a modern time or if we were, and that's why it was a little bit hard to read sometimes. I was like, oh, okay, we're there. But like I said, I don't think that was the point. I don't think she was trying to say it at a certain time. I don't think she was trying to say it at like a certain time or make a certain story with it. I think what her poetry, from what I gathered as I read it and reread it a little bit, is that she speaks more of emotions and what women have gone through throughout the centuries and decades and everything like that. And for me, it spoke more about female rage, and like female rage towards the witch trials, and how like the witch trials really kind of discriminated the most against female sexuality, a female's voice, a female's right to control her own life, and those kind of like stereotypes still kind of linger to modern day, but now we're at a time where we can express that female rage a bit more. Like, we have a bit more of a voice, and we can express how angry we still are about those stupid witch hunts that discriminated mainly against women, and how we've been oppressed to express our sexuality, because if we did, we would be a slut, we would be a whore, and and we still don't have full control of our bodies, because there's things that are going on in America right now with the Roe versus Wade. Like, we can't control anything that goes on with us, because everyone has their opinion. And that's where I think another part of the female rage that I understood in this poetry collection that really spoke to me as a woman. And I was just like, Rebecca's hitting it head on. What's the hitting the nail? Yeah, hitting the nail. I'm terrible with phrases, but you know what I mean. But she was getting it so right in that aspect. And yes, it was a bit hard to read at first, because I wasn't really used to that kind of way of expression after I got it, I was like, yeah, I totally agree, and I totally empathise with that kind of female rage. And this is all what I felt that I got from it. I don't know if this is the absolute 100% what Rebecca was going for. I'm just taking guesses and what I interpreted it from it. So one of the learning highlights that I got from this is that there are no limits to express female rage, to express female sexuality and a woman's voice. There are literally no limits of how you do it. And I feel like one of the things that Rebecca did so well is that she got the female rage expressed in different ways, like using like autonomies and nature and spells and everything like that. And you know, she really did it in different ways, so she wouldn't like put down I'm angry every 5 seconds, like, you know. So she really did that really well. And Rebecca has a very unafraid stance in her writing. Like, she's unafraid to use swear words. Like, she used several times the C word. I think that kind of like emboldened me a little bit, because I have a few swear words. I don't use the C word. Do I? I don't know, I might do now. But in my novel I do have a few characters that swear a bit. And I've always been a bit weirded out. Like, I swear a lot outside of this video making thing. I swear a lot in my daily life. I don't like swear at like every sentence, but I swear a fair amount. And I always want to put that in my novels, but at the same time I'm just like, yeah, but would people be like, why are you swearing every 5 seconds? Or oh, that swear word wasn't necessary. And with Rebecca doing what she's done in the novel, I feel a bit more like, yeah, I can swear. Yeah. And I really like how she's unafraid to do that, and that makes me really respect her for what she's done, as well as the whole collection as a whole. I think that's very inspirational. Yeah, so that's another thing I learned, like, don't be afraid to use swear words. I think another thing that I found really great about Rebecca's and Tamás's writing is that it wasn't all doom and gloom. Like, one thing that I can sort of like relate to with Nikita Gill is that there was some kind of like hope within the writing, but it was very different. Because with Nikita Gill, hers was like like a light shining out of you, brightness. But with Rebecca's writing, I felt it was more like strength shining through, but it was strength shining through the horrible stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was how us women have gotten stronger throughout the generations because of the crap that previous generations have been through, to gain our rights, to gain a bit more control of our bodies, to express what we want to express in our lives. And yeah, she shines out strength throughout all of it, and that's like really like the positive. It wasn't like all doom and gloom, it was like some kind of like positivity into it as well. So I felt that was really good as well. So my favourite parts through the collections were there was a part on 52. Yeah, so it's well, this wasn't really my favourite part. It wasn't necessarily like my favourite part, but with some of the poetry that she did, well, with most of it anyway, the way she structures it, it kind of looks like that. So she has like it in big paragraphs, or it to the side, or a line to the side sort of thing. And I felt like that was really good, how she did that, because it gave more tension to what she was writing, and it gave more a climactic build. So I think that was really good. And then the second one that I kind of that was my favourite was page 65, and it was under the poem of Which City, and it ends with, history is so old and gross, wake me up when it really gets started. And that was actually on the blurb, and it kind of like illustrates, hey, look, the history's been really crap and filled with misogyny. Well, I can't even pronounce it. Sexism. Say that. Wake me up when we're out of that kind of climate. And I don't think that person will be waking up for a while from the way things are going. So yeah, she's like, guys, sexism is so old, can we just move on, please? Like, come on. So yeah, that was another thing I really liked. That was another part I really liked. And then the third favourite part was on page 79. And and for me, what I got from this, okay, I'm going to read it first. The witch is tired and at war. She hates the past and hates the present. She hates how easy it is, how incongruous, how boring. And I think, to me, from what that says, is just like, I'm so tired of repeating the past. Can we just... It's the same thing with this wake me up when it gets really tired. I'm so tired of having these constant arguments of, oh, should a woman have a right to have an abortion? Should a woman have a right to wear what she wants? Should a woman be allowed to express her sexuality no matter what? Like, can we not have these conversations all the time? Because I think the answer is yes, all the time. Like, come on. Like, we're in the 21st century and we're still having these wrestling competitions of what women should be allowed to do. If men get to do it, we can do it, alright? Like, there's no, like, stop having these stupid wars and conversations about it. It's just so old and tiresome, and I'm tired of it, and she's tired of it, and Rebecca's tired of it. Like, we're all, us women are just so tired. Like, basic human rights, the same as a man, is all that we're asking. So yeah, we're just going to go and move on to overall thoughts now before I go into a full rant. So overall thoughts, this makes me feel more emboldened towards my own writing about witches in my own world and what I want to express. And I feel like I might try and dabble in female rage a little bit. Like, it's not the central focal point of my novel, but I think it might be important as Rebecca has done to illustrate that female rage that we've endured so much in the past, and we're still enduring a little bit now. And I feel like it would be a disservice to the women who have suffered in the past to not express that female rage, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I think that's important. And yeah, I did like it. It was a bit hard to get into at first, and it was a bit hard to read at times, but I think I'm really glad that I read this, because it really got me a bit out of my comfort zone, and it also gave me a new perspective on different forms of writing, on how to express yourself a little bit. So so I did like it. Me saying like Rebecca's a great person, I think she's lovely. Honestly, I don't have any bad things about it. It was just hard to read at times. It was just, for me, it was a bit all over the place at some points, but that's my only negative commentary. Like, I think overall it was amazing. But yeah, I have nothing else to say. I'm not really sure, as it says on my notebook here, I'm not really sure what the next book review is going to be. I have a list of books that I want to read, but I don't know what order I'm going to do it yet. I might read another research book, but it might be another like fiction book or a poetry book. I'm not really sure at this point, so you'll find out at the same time I find out. Yeah, but I'm going to leave it there. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of the day, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.